Today on our 2017 Mazda CX-5, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13315. So here's what our hitch looks like once we have it installed. Now it is going to tuck up nicely behind the bumper, and all we're really going to see is the receiver tube sticking out. It is a Class 3 hitch, which means it's going to give us that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening, which is going to be nice because there's going to be a lot of accessories available for it. Now it does have a reinforced collar, not only giving it that added strength, but also giving it that nice clean finish look. Whatever accessories you do decide to mount, they're going to be using the mounting hole here, and it's going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip. Now they're not included in our kit, but you can pick one up on our website using part number PC3. Now the safety chain loops are going to be a loop style welded to the bottom of the receiver tube, and as you can see, we're going to have plenty of room to get most size hooks on or off, and it is just slightly offset from the pinhole, so even with a locking device, we're not going to have to worry about it interfering with our safety chains. Our hitch is going to have a 600-pound tongue weight and a 4,000-pound gross trailer weight rating. Now, I always want to mention you always want to double check your vehicle's owner's manual to make sure it can handle that amount of weight. And per the manufacturer, any non-trailer loads, such as cargo carriers or bike racks, or anything that isn't supported by wheels, needs to have a stabilization strap, which you can pick up on our website using part number 18050. I'd like to give you a few measurements that will help you when deciding for accessories for your new hitch, such as a ball mount, bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper, it's going to be right about 4 inches. From the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be right about 13¼ inches. Now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's show you how to put it on. To begin our installation, we're going to come to the very back of our vehicle, and just right underneath the bumper, we're going to have a plastic panel that we're going to have to remove. We're going to have one plastic push pin, one on each side, and to remove those, I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver. There's going to be a little indention on either side, and you're going to want to pop out that center section first, which will release the tension. Then we can pop the rest of the clip out. And we'll go ahead and do that for the other one too. Now if we just move towards the center just a little bit, there's going to be a square hole right there. We're going to take our screwdriver, and there's going to be a small tab. We're going to push in on that tab, which is going to release the plastic panel, and then we can pull it down. There's going to be one on each side. Now in order to get our hitch in place, we're going to need to lower our exhaust down. But before we do, I'm going to take a little bit of spray lubricant, and I'm going to spray down the rubber isolator, making it a little bit easier to pull that hanger out. And we're going to have one right next to our tailpipe, and then one right behind it. And we're going to have two on each side, so we can go ahead and spray the other ones also. I'm just going to take a pry bar, and your main goal here is just to slide that rubber isolator off of the post here so that we can lower it down. Now that we have one removed, we're going to go ahead and put a strap to support our exhaust so it doesn't fall down all the way. Just going to want to find a sturdy location to put your strap up. And then we can go ahead and work on removing the rest of the hangers. You want to adjust your strap so that you have enough room to get the hitch in between the exhaust and the bumper here, but you don't want your exhaust to hang down too far. We come to the very side of our frame rail. We're going to see that we're going to have a sticker or some tape on the side. Now that's going to be covering up our mounting hole. So I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver. You can take whatever you got available, even if it's just a utility knife. You're going to want to scrape away all the tape so that we can gain access to that hole. That's going to be one mounting location that we have. That's going to be towards the very back of our frame at the bumper. And if we move forward, just right real close to that forward exhaust hanger, we're going to have another one that's further up. Now you're going to want to remove this tape or sticker off of that one as well. Now we're going to have both these mounting locations on both sides of our vehicle, so we can go and do that on the other side as well. Now also on each side of our frame rail, we're going to have a wire coming down that has a clip that's put into the side of the frame rail. It's going to take a flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to pop that mounting clip out. And we'll notice that we're gonna have a lot of excess seam sealant on the side of our frame. To make sure that our hitch seats up against our frame properly, just take that flathead screwdriver and you're gonna wanna peel off and scrape off all that excess sealant on the side of the frame. We don't need to take it all off, just wanna make it so it's nice and clean on the side. Once you have it all nice and cleaned off and all the excess peeled away, go ahead and do that on the other side too. Now the forward mounting hole towards the front of our vehicle, it's gonna have an existing weld nut inside of it. Now for whatever reason, if there wasn't any tape covering that up, dirt and debris and moisture is gonna get inside of there, which could cause some problems when we go to thread in our hardware. So a quick solution to that is just take a little bit of spray lubricant. You're gonna wanna spray it inside the hole of the weld nut. Then we're gonna come back with a nylon brush. And we're gonna make sure to clean all the debris out of there and make sure that the threads are nice and clean. We'll do that for both sides to make sure that we can get our hardware in place. If we come to our hitch, on the side where it's going to be mounting, we're going to have one hole towards the back of where our receiver tube is. And if we follow it down the arm, we're going to have another hole that's going to be mounting. And we're going to take the 1/2-inch flat washers, and we're going to go into the inside of that tab, and we're going to line up the hole. You're going to want to take a little bit of tape, and you're going to want to tape that washer to the inside of the hitch. Now obviously you want to leave the hole exposed so we can get it in place, but this is going to make it a little bit easier when we go to put the hitch in place, not having to fumble with the washers. So we're going to go ahead and tape them in place. You want to tape all 4 mounting locations. Now towards the back of our frame where our rear mounting location is, if we come to the bottom of our frame, this large hole is going to be our access hole. So we're going to get our hardware in place, we're going to take our fish wire, we're going to go in through the mounting location, and you're going to want to pull that wire down through that access hole. And once you have it through, you're going to take one of the square spacer blocks, and you're going to feed it over the coiled end, and then you're going to take one of the 1/2-inch carriage bolts and thread it on. And we can thread each piece individually up into the frame. And go ahead and pull that wire back through so the hardware comes out. Now on some models there may be a weld nut right here, and if you do, you don't have to worry about fish wiring this side. But since we don't have one, we went ahead and fish wired our hardware through, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side as well. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to get our hitch put in place, and we're going to feed our fish wire through the rearmost hole. You're going to want to go over your exhaust, and you may need to pull the fascia down just a bit right at the corner to get the hitch put in place. Now once you have the hitch up, you want to grab that pull wire and pull the bolt out, which will help support it and keep it from coming down. You can go ahead and remove the pull wire. And with this rear mounting location, we're going to grab a 1/2-inch flange nut and secure it in place. You're going to want to at least have 1 bolt per side so the hitch doesn't come falling down. Then we work on getting the rest of our hardware in place. Our forward mounting hardware is going to be an M12 bolt and a conical tooth washer. Now we're going to slide the washer over the bolt, making sure that the teeth are facing towards the hitch. And you're going to want to go through that forward mounting hole. You may need to adjust the hitch a little bit to get it in line. And we're just going to thread it in hand tight. Another thing that I'd like to mention real quick is that whenever you are putting your hitch up, you want to make sure that your wires are on the outside of it. So when you do put it in the tabs here on the mounting spot, make sure you go over and around your wires and it isn't trapped on the inside. For our rear attachment points where we had our 1/2-inch flange nuts, I'm going to come back with a 3/4-inch socket and tighten them up. Just want to snug up both sides. For our forward attachment point, I'm going to be using a 19mm socket on that M12 bolt. We'll go ahead and snug up the other side too. Now I'm going to come back with that same 3/4 inch socket for the 1/2 inch flange bolts, and I'm going to torque them down to the specified amount in the instructions. We'll repeat that for all the remaining hardware. With the hitch all torqued down, I'm just going to take a little bit more of that spray lubricant, spray it on the hangers, and then we can get our exhaust put back up. And finally, we can remove the strap. That'll finish up your look at the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13315 on our 2017 Mazda CX-5.